Hey everybody, it's Jesse. I know it's been a while. It's been since New Year's since I did a stream on Free Code Camp. So I'm happy to be back, and I have a new mic. So let me know how it sounds. If everybody can hear me. Actually, I got a nice upgrade here. So this is one of the Yeti microphones. So I saw a lot of streamers using those. They had good reviews, so I figured, I've been doing this for a while. Maybe I better upgrade. And I was doing some podcasts lately, and the audio quality is obviously very important. But today, I want to program something that's going to work with this little headset. This is the. Let me see if I can get the logo. I'll unplug it to Nerosity Notion headset. And so once we get it hooked up, maybe I'll try putting it on and see what we can do with it. But I did a video on my channel kind of introducing what this thing could do and doing a little demo of it. So if you're interested in learning more about that particular headset, check out my YouTube channel. Links in the description. And you can see it was one of like the last few videos I did. You'll see that one in there. But today I want to actually code an app, a React Native app that'll run on mobile, that'll sync up with this headset and allow you to do some stuff. So phase one of this app is going to be just sync the device up and track your focus. And if you start to lose focus, we're going to do something on the phone. So I haven't decided for sure yet. Maybe vibrate the phone or make a little noise, something like that. That's going to be like the MVP phase one that I'd like to actually get out on the App Store. After that, I think it'd be cool to maybe add more features, see if it could make more things happen in terms of focus. I'd love to be able to have it run on like Android Auto, so you could track your focus while you're driving and get an alert if you start to lose focus. So there's some cool things you could do beyond just focus. You can also train gestures. So if, like I said, check out the video if you want to learn more about it. But basically, it's possible with this device to think about doing something like moving your arm, something, whatever you want to think about, and then trigger an action. So any action you could think of for either something on the internet or an Internet of Things connected device. So I'm hoping to do a lot of cool stuff with this. But first step is we just need to get it hooked up and working with an app. And so that's what we're going to start with. So basically all I've done, if you haven't seen my live stream before, the idea is there's no prep work beforehand. I don't rehearse or even do that much research beforehand because I want it to be as authentic as possible in terms of what a developer would go through when they're approaching new problems and trying to solve things on the fly. So I'm going to set a little timer. We're going to code during the timer, and when the timer goes off, I'm going to check the live chat. So there's a lot of activity in the live chat, and I just want to say hey to everybody in the chat now and let you know I'm not ignoring your questions. I'm going to get to all your questions and comments, but I'm just going to code a little bit first. Okay, so I actually didn't get my timer up beforehand, so let me do that now. I'm going to do that on another screen. Let me show you my screen while I'm doing this. There we go. Now you don't have to look at me as much. What happened to my timer? I've lost my timer app. Oh well. I just need a Pomodoro timer. I was using a Pomodoro timer that somebody who used to watch the live streams made. and I had it up on my screen, but I closed it. And let me just give you the basics of what I've done here in the code first. All I did was scaffold a project using Expo. So Expo is a way to use React Native. That if you're not familiar with React Native is using JavaScript to build Android and iOS and web apps, right? Expo helps you to do that. It makes React Native easier to work with. So I just used Expo. This is pretty much the latest version. There might be some minor versions after this, but we're pretty up to date. If you hear noise in the background, that's my kids. I have 4 kids, and they're all running around, so you may hear that. Somebody, hey, I'm doing a live stream right now, kids.
We were eating ice cream. I meant we were eating icing. We were eating pink icing for Valentine's Day.
Please take your little sister upstairs. Ambrose, I'm sorry if nobody wants to go outside with you, buddy.
Can I eat your cookie dough?
Go ahead upstairs. You already had ice cream.
But I want to have your cookie dough bites.
No, eat your ice cream and be good.
No. I want cookie dough bites.
Gemma, you already had cookie dough bites. Please take your sister upstairs. All right. Here, you want to stay with me?
Yeah.
All right, look, why don't you sit over there and you can watch the live stream, okay? You want to do that? All right, buddy. All right. Sorry about that. My 5-year-old's very upset. Gemma, please go upstairs.
Okay. I'm coming back.
My 5-year-old's very upset because none of his siblings wanted to go outside with him. So.
You said Raphael.
So.
It's Ambrose.
All right. So. Where was I? I got totally off track. Oh, React Native. So we're using React Native with Expo, and we were just going through the package JSON. Basically, my point of going through this was I'm pretty sure we're like pretty up to date on most of the packages, so we should be pretty good with that. We are using TypeScript as well, so TypeScript is something you can use with JavaScript to help have be like a more strongly typed version of JavaScript. There's a ton of info about TypeScript out there, so I'm not going to take a ton of time to explain it, but basically, like, the JavaScript you see might have a few things that are different than normal in there. That's probably TypeScript. Otherwise, it works just like normal JavaScript. All right, so let me slide this over and just show you what I have so far. I just took the boilerplate that Expo gives you that lets you run an app, and I added in some of this authentication stuff. Now, let me copy and paste in the starter GitHub repo into the chat. So you all can check out the GitHub repo that I'm going to be pulling some code from. And I haven't put my code on GitHub yet, but I will, and I'll include that link in the description. So the creators of the Neurosity Notion brain computer have already made a React kind of getting started repo. So it's for React, not for React Native, but I think we can use it and make it work to authenticate and be able to sync up our device with an app. So that's where I pulled some of this code from. The only thing that I think won't work is, so they're using this local storage stuff. We don't have local storage on an app, right? There's different storage. So we're going to probably not be able to use that. Otherwise, I think we should be able to reuse a lot of this code. So I got basically to the point where I needed to put in some text inputs, and that's where I kind of stopped. So we need the user to input a little bit of data from their device. So everybody's going to have a different device ID and that they're going to need to use. everybody who uses the app. So we need to provide them with some inputs, right? And let's actually run a version of this app. Let's see if we can do. So Expo lets you run it. I wonder if it's going to let me run as a web app. I don't want to run it on my phone because I want you all to be able to see it. So let's see if I can run this. I wonder if I could do like W. Yep, there we go. So it didn't list it as an option, but if you hit W, you can open it as a web app. So let's see if it'll run. I may have messed it up when I copied and pasted this stuff. Yeah, and I did. So let me pull this over and just show you. So we're getting an error because of that local storage stuff. So let's take that out. We can keep this in. So these are our React hooks, right? So we can keep this in and just say use state. And instead of device ID, let's go. Let's just give it an empty string for now. And we have this, what is this, navigate thing here. Let's comment this out for now. And new notion, device ID. We don't have a device ID, so okay, this is covered. And we need to get rid of this. Subscription, set user. Where's set user? Okay. All right, let's see if we can at least get it to run. All right, cool. So we got it to run. So you can see, let me make this bigger. So that's the text that we have. So we actually have this app running. Now we're running it in kind of web mode. So it's not exactly the same as running it on a mobile device, but it's going to give us a good idea without having to go through everything about like running a mobile simulator. It's going to give us a pretty good idea of what our app is doing, at least to be able to say like, did it even work? Am I getting like crazy errors? So that's a good start. But we need the user to be able to put in some data, right? So we need the device ID. That's probably the most important thing. And set user, set device ID, selection. Yeah. So we definitely need a text input for device ID. So you can see I've already pulled in text input from React Native. React Native comes with a bunch of components, like by default. So we're going to put in a text input down here. So instead of this text that we just saw, let's throw in a text input. And we could change this text to say, link your Notion. The headset is called the Notion headset. And let's put in text input. And I don't think we need like that. Let's look up what all the props are that go into a text input, right? So let's go back to our Chrome here, and let's look up React Native text input. And in about 15 minutes, I'm gonna go back to the chat and read a bunch of stuff. So if you're in the chat commenting, I will definitely get to those comments, and I don't intend to ignore the comments. There we go. Just the React Native documentation, and this will give us just a little example. Yeah, actually, let's just copy and paste this example, and that'll give us a good place to start. Hey, Ambrose, you don't dribble a basketball while I'm doing this, because that'll make a lot of noise. Okay, buddy? Thank you. All right, so I'm not going to mess with the style yet. I'm not that worried about the style. At first, we're just going to try to get this working, and then we can make it look nicer. To be honest, I'm going for kind of a really minimal interface anyway. But we have on-change text. But in this case, what I want to do here is add the device ID. So if we look at our hooks up here, we have set device ID as our hook. So we're going to change this to set device ID. Okay. And now every time a user types in here, it's going to change the state for this component, the device ID state. And for the value, we're going to put in device ID. Okay, so what this will do for us is this makes this input now what we call a controlled input or a controlled component, because the value is now controlled by our component state. So the value is the state, and when you change the value of the input, it updates state. Okay. Let's save it and see if it worked. Let's go back here. Yep, and look, we have that. And if we check, so let's inspect this and see if we can see the state updating. I'll make this a lot bigger. We should be able to see the state updating for our. See if we could find our root component. Let's get rid of that. Maybe it's app. Yeah. All right, so here we go. Here's our state. And we can see as I type, the state changes. Right, so it's working. At least that's working, right? Now, our let's go back to our code. Let's see what we need to send. So we need a user. All right, so if we to create a new notion, all we need is the device ID. So we may be able to test that out right away. Let's talk about our user. Set user. So we're getting the user from subscribe here. So we don't need to input the user.
Can we use these?
Mm-hmm. So we may be able to try it out to see if we can sync this device. Yeah, let's give that a shot. All right, cool. So we're gonna need to change the code just a bit, though. So if there's a user, we set user. I want some type of indication, though, that this is actually working. So let's add in a little bit of text here and say if user, then let's render a little text that says logged in. Okay. That way we'll know it worked. So what this is doing is it's checking that state for user, which should be empty. Let's double check that. So user is set to null at first. But if we successfully log in with our device, then we should be able to subscribe and get a user, and then that will set the user. Then down here, we'll detect that there is a user, and we'll say, okay, now let's display the text logged in. Okay. So if you're not familiar with React or React Native, this might be a little bit confusing to you. Feel free to ask some questions. I'll try to explain as much as I can. In about 10 minutes, I'm going to take a break and look at the questions here. But let's give this a shot now. If I miss something, I'm sure it'll throw an error and we can fix that. But for now, I think we have, let me give it a save here. Just verify that that's working. Okay, great. Oh, I know what we need. We need a button. We need some sort of button to submit this, right? Okay, so let's add in a button. And React Native actually has a button. Well, let me import it here. So let's import button. Oops. And so we have this button, and I guess we could check. Let's check the documentation for this. So we'll search for, we're already in here, buttons right there. Let's copy and paste the example for button. There we go. So it's going to say press me, and then it's going to run this alert, but we don't want the alert. What we want is on press, we want it to run this this use effect. So what we'll do is let's just grab this code. Yeah. So I'm going to grab this code. I'm going to comment this out because we're going to want it to behave like this at some point, but for now we just want it to say let's see, we'll just call it login. Oops, we'll say login, and we'll make this an arrow function, and let's paste in this code. Oops, it's not working. Let's get rid of that. We'll get rid of that part. Okay. Notion. Uh-oh. Let's do this. Let's do const notion equals null, and then that way we can set notion here. How about that? Whoops. Let notion equal null, maybe. Notion. Are we declaring it? Oh, okay. Oh, what happened there? Okay, so we already have notion as a state. Let's back up a little bit. Why is it giving me this? Because I got too many brackets, that's why. There we go. Okay, so now we have a login function that should get us what we need here. And we just need to call it on press. There we go. There we go. All right. So we saved it. Let's try it out. Uh-oh. Loading. I messed something up. Alright, where we at? Why is it saying loading? If loading. That's why it's saying loading. Alright, let's let's just set loading to false for now. There we go. Okay. I need to get my device ID. So on another screen, I'm going to grab my device ID. Let's see if I can find it. I thought I had it up already, but there we go. And actually, let me move this over real quick. I'm not really sure if I'm supposed to show my device ID or not. But I know how to fix that. Let's do this. I'm going to set the width to 5. So check this out. Look. So the width of my text input is 5. So when I paste my device ID in, everybody saw it anyway. Oh well. I'm not that worried about it. I just want to see what error we're getting. Because if this is not working, we should get an error. I'm getting nothing. Am I getting anything in the network? What's going on? Nothing. Alright. Let's throw in some console logs. So, first thing I want to see is our login function even being called at all? So let's say console log. I'm just going to put in a little string there just to see what's happening. All right. Hey, there we go. We got something this time. Oh, nice. So it did run and we got an error. So we got illegal app name from Firebase. Check our network here. Interesting. Yeah, so it looks like it's trying to do something. So that's good progress, right? All right. Good progress. I'm also going to check my timer because it's got to be just about time for taking questions here. Yep. About a minute I'll stop and answer some questions. And at this point, it looks like new Notion, device ID, set Notion. Oh, I know. Let's check our state. Let's see if we got anything back. Because I wonder if we're getting an error on this part or if we're getting an error on this part. So let's see if the state updated at all. Go to our components here. And one of these hooks is the state that we're looking for. So let's paste that in. Cool. Look at that. All right. Awesome. So we got our stuff here. We got our response, or at least we got something, right? So I believe then our error would be in the in that second part that we saw, right? So this is happening. We're setting all the data we get back after we do this are being set here. Then this is running and we're trying to subscribe and get a user, right? But something's happening there. So let's take a little break. I'm going to answer some questions, and then we're going to come back and see if we can figure out what else we need to do here. At this point, it might not be a bad idea to go look at the demo React code provided by Nagatoshi, the people who make the headset, and see what they did, because I know I didn't copy and paste everything over, and I bet that there's some other stuff happening that we need to do to make that work. All right, so I need to, let me make the text on the chat a little bigger so I can see. There we go. Okay. All right, for everybody who just joined as well, I'm going to use this brain-computer interface. I did a demo video, kind of an intro to this brain-computer interface device on my channel, so check the link in the description to go to my channel, and then you will be able to find that video on the brain-computer interface and get kind of an overview of what this thing is and what it can do. And let's see. I'm kind of just scrolling through the chat right now looking for questions. A couple questions about what language you're using. This is React Native, and the language is JavaScript with TypeScript. We have a question about, for cybersecurity, what is best? B Tech in CS or IT? Tell you the truth, I don't really know. If anybody out there is in cybersecurity and can answer that question, we're wondering what type of degree is best for cybersecurity. Let's see. Hi, I'm from the Philippines. It's a great feeling to see you code here. Thanks for sharing. Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for saying that. That's awesome. Michael Wall says CEH for ethical hacking is an option. Okay. That's cool. What is that? Certified Ethical Hacker, I believe, is the CEH. Lonnie said it was too close up. So I had a video on my face at the beginning. It was too close up. I will remember that. Maybe I will back up a bit next time. Code Dragon says, learning a lot from your channel. That's awesome. That's awesome. There's a lot of good content here on the Free Code Camp channel. A lot of really smart people contributing. So, I mean, my live streams, it is what it is, right? But there's some really, even if you don't care for what I'm doing right now, check out the other videos. They're really good. Rod says it would be great to see more live coding videos on the Free Code Camp channel. I'm really going to try to do some more live coding. I used to do it a lot more, and I gotten away from it, and had a lot of stuff happening with my job, so I'm not able to work from home as much as I used to be able to. I had some health issues going on, but I think I got that all worked out now, and hopefully, and so I'm going to try to get on a better schedule so I can live stream more. Jeff says, thanks for coding live so we can all watch. This is awesome. You're welcome. Thanks for watching. Collins asks, what do we use React for exactly? Okay, so React is a library that helps you build web apps. I think it's some of its strengths, at least from my point of view, are making state management easy. It's once you kind of learn it, it's pretty simple to kind of think through the flow of state. So I like it for that. And there's a lot more to React, but basically it just helps you build web apps. React Native uses kind of the same concept, the same logic, but then lets you apply that to mobile apps. Let's see. Not Found says, what will the backend be built in? So Nagatoshi, the company that makes the brain-computer interface, has their own kind of backend for handling like the data that's coming from the headset. So we're going to take advantage of what they're providing, and then we won't, at least in the stage one, we won't need our own backend. As we add later functionality, that's something we might need to talk about and think about. But I'm not 100% decided on what exactly we would need and what we would use for that. I see. I'm getting to the point in the chat where all my kids came in, and so thanks everybody saying the kids are cute. Yeah, that's the real. For a while, I got to tell you, I wanted to stream more, but I was a little bit embarrassed by my setup. And I know it's silly because if you've watched me before, you know I've done a ton of streams, and my setup's always been not that great. But like I'm in a basement, and the quality in terms of like audio is probably not great because my kids and everything going on. But then it hit me, and it took me way too long to realize this. But you know, that's if I want my stream to be authentic in how it really is for me to code, then I should just leave all that stuff in. So I decided just to go for it and stream with all the distractions and everything built in. So hopefully everybody kind of understands that. And, this is not like a professional thing that I'm doing. It's just a little side thing. So there will be distractions and noise. Carlos says, this is the most authentic live stream I've ever seen. Subscribing now. That's awesome. All right. RV says, where can we get that brain device? So if you look up Nagatoshi, let me give you the link, actually. Let me give you the link to their website. I'm double checking I have the right link, and then I'll paste it in. Let me paste that link in for you all. This is the website for the Nagatoshi headset. I believe you can join. I think there's like a wait list right now. But you can join that and see about getting it, getting the headset. Okay. All right, so I am going to go back to the code now and do a little bit more code. And let's see. Looks like someone in the chat using some language. So I'm gonna hide that user's messages. So let's see. So anyway, hopefully you all didn't see that. I think most of the messages were hidden by the filter, but somebody was not being nice. So let's see. Cool. Let's see. I'm double checking that I got everything. All right, cool. Anyway, sorry it took me a couple minutes to catch that. I try to keep everything real positive. Let's see, there might be somebody else. All right, I think I got all the people causing trouble. So anyway, on my channel and on the Free Code Camp channel, I try to keep everything positive. So if you want to be negative, there's so many places on the internet you can just go and talk trash if you want to. This is not the place for that. So try to keep everything encouraging. I don't mind if you want to criticize what I'm doing in terms of my coding abilities or my ability to live stream. That's fine. I don't mind that. But I don't want you calling anybody else names in the chat. So if you do, I'm not gonna make a big deal. I'm just gonna hide all your messages. So anyway, hopefully that's through, and we can get back to some code. So yeah, let me get back to some code here. Let's see, probably maybe go for like another half an hour or so, and then I'll stop streaming. So I don't want to. It is the weekend. I want to spend time with my family, so I figure I'd just take about an hour to do some code, and then we won't finish today on this app, but I'll give it another shot later in the week and see if we can get it finished. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to go to this this repo. Let me make it bigger. So this is just on GitHub. So I already put a link to this in the chat. If you weren't here, I'm going to link it again. And there we go. So if you want to check it yourself, that link's now in the live chat. But I want to go in here and see. This is like the React. They call it their React starter, right? So we do need to change some things though, because this is React Native. So I'm going to go in here to the source, and let's check out their app.js and see if we're missing something important. I assume that we're missing something important. That's why it's not working. So I'm going to make this a little bigger. I just want to make sure everybody can see. A little bit bigger. It might be a bit too big, but better to be too big than too small in terms of visibility. So somebody may be watching this on their phone. So now I know, so we have these, right? So we have this. We're good. We did comment this out. I see. So they're doing some navigation. So they're navigating to some other components. So that might be part of the piece that we're missing. But let's see. Let's keep reading. Subscribe the user. So we're going to try to set the user. Okay. Okay, so they're using React Router, and they have this login, which is basically what we're doing is the login screen for the most part. And they're passing the login screen this info. Okay. So let's check out and see what kind of logic they have going on in their login screen and see if we're missing something. So let's go back to our source. We'll go into, I guess, pages, login. Oh, I see. So they're saying they're getting email, password. So it looks like we need a little bit more. We need the email and the password. So they're prompting people for the email and password. So we're definitely going to need to do that. So here's what I think is probably happening with their app and should happen. Is that after they do the part that we did, then the user is prompted for more info. So that's the next part that we have to do. So I guess let me make this a little smaller so I can get kind of a big picture of what's happening. You might be able to just copy and paste some of this stuff. Trying to find what we actually need here. So we need, so this is notion.login. Okay. All right, I think we need to add an email and password field, and we need to add in state for email and password as well. So I'm just going to grab this first, and I'm going to try to do it all in one page for now, in one file, just for like simplicity. Down the road we may end up like breaking it out into different files, different components. And let's grab this use effect. And we'll put it down here. And we're going to have to get rid of some of it, but that should work for now. Let me see if I need something else. All right, I think we're good. At least for now. We'll get us to the next step, at least. So, we don't need that. I don't need that. And I don't need that. And I'm not going to do this because I'm just going to console log the error. Okay. All right, so this use effect will only run if some of this data changes. Right, so user notion. We may actually not want it like this. Async function, login. We may want to change. Let's change the name of our function. Let's just change it to init for like initialize. So this button is now going to be initialize. Okay, and we'll do it like this. Let's do let's make more text boxes here that I wonder how we should do this. Yeah, you know, let's just make some more text inputs to get all the data we need. So we're going to add 2 more text inputs. And instead of device ID, it's going to be set email. Email. And then we're going to say set password, and the value will be password. So this is going to give us 3 text inputs now, and they're going to be linked up with our new state. So the first text input is going to be device ID, next one will be email, and the next one will be password. All right, so we're going to have these in there now, and let's save it, just make sure we haven't broken anything yet. Nope, we got all 3 of these, and I got them real skinny like this just so that it's not too obvious what my password and stuff is. Let's move this over. Okay, now on press me, we're not actually doing anything, but let's change that. We're going to change the logic a little bit here. So currently on init, we're getting this new notion, right? And we're setting notion, and then this use effect works, and we're trying to set the user. So we're subscribing, and we're trying to set the user here. When we get the user, Actually, what we could do there is email password. Oh, wait. Oh, did they have their own? They have their own version of it. User. I'm actually gonna comment this out for now because I think the login. Let's go back and look at our app.js again and see what we had. So if user else navigate. I see. So we took some of this stuff out. I believe this is what I believe is happening. So if you can't get a user, it navigates you to the login page, and then you have to log in. So login needs to happen first. So the set user is being passed down as a prop. So we're good. We're actually good in the way we're doing this. In that we the next step is this step here. And so I just want to make sure this runs only when we want it to run. So use effect. I guess it works. As long as we enter everything in properly, I think this should work. Okay. I think it should work. At least to get us to the next step. Now, what I want to do is figure out what my password is that I'm supposed to put in here. So let me go back to... I'm doing this off screen just to hide, I guess, what this is. So device ID. Oh, I know now. So the way this works is I put in my device ID and my email, and I should get an email with my password in it. I think that's how it'll work. Let's double check. You know what we could do? We could just clone this. Have I already forked this? Maybe I did. Let's fork this, clone it, run it. Then we'll know what the flow is supposed to be from a user perspective. I'm going to clone it, and we'll just go right in here and clone it from here. I'm doing a git clone. Now I should have this available. So let's look at my projects folder and see. What is it? Notion React Starter. So let's cd into Notion React Starter. I'm going to open up a new VS Code window. And then I'm going to go back to the right folder here so I don't accidentally mess things up, confuse them. Stay focused. All right, now let's go to our other VS Code window and just run this really quick. We'll do a new terminal. Let's run npm I. So that'll install everything. Oh, that's not. I wondered why that package JSON was so long. I accidentally clicked the package left JSON. Good. So this is. Once this installs, we'll just run it. There we go. npm run start. Cool. Oh, I see. All right, so they have. See, we weren't really that far off. This is kind of what our screen has on it. It doesn't look like it, but it has this. So device ID, email, and password all in one go. Interesting. But how am I supposed to get the password? Let's go back here and see. Let's check our docs. Make it a little bigger. All right. Web app. Yeah, let's see the web app. All right, device ID. Email and password. Maybe it wants the password that I use. Yeah, I'll give it a shot. I'm thinking it wants the password that I use for like to actually log in to the Notion. So let's try that. See what we get. So I'm gonna grab the device ID. And I'm gonna turn my device on. And I'm gonna put in my email. And then I'm gonna copy and paste my password, or at least what I think the password would be. And let's see what happened. Wrong password. Hey, cool. Like we got we got farther in the process. All right, let me try a new password then. Wait, did that work? Did that really work? I think it did. All right, that's cool. Let's check out. Yeah. Okay, so this. Nice. That worked. Sweet, 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 sweet. All right, cool. All right, so that worked. I didn't really expect that to work so quickly. So what's the next step? All right, let's go back to the code here. See what the next step is. All right, so now I guess we can say we need to subscribe. We want the user. Or do we already have a user? I think we do. I think we've set, yeah, we've authenticated. We've set the user, yeah, because what's the second hook? The second hook is user, so we saw that data. We have that data now. So this second hook here we have. Cool. So since we have that, we can look now at kind of like the next step. So we have our code here. Let's see what we do next. What's our calm stage? So we're doing a subscription. Now the subscription that they're doing here is this notion.calm, subscribe to calm. We want to subscribe to focus. So I think we can just let's grab some of this here. Yeah, let's grab this and bring it in. Let's see. All right, so I'm gonna pull this in here. So what we should get then is everywhere we say calm, I'm gonna change it to focus. Focus. All right, so we're gonna subscribe to the focus, and for this I'm actually gonna, let's see, let me put this on. Okay, so we can actually get some real brainwaves. See if I can fit my headphones on top of it. I actually can. That's cool. It's not very comfortable with these big headphones though. All right, cool. So what I want to do, I guess, is I don't want this to be, actually, yeah, this could be a use effect. So we'll just do it like that. So this use effect will say, yeah, if there's no user or no notion, then it's just going to return, right? But if we have both of these, then we're actually going to run this. We're going to get this focus. It's going to be a number, and we want to display that. So instead of this logged in, I want to display focus. Right? In React, if I put brackets in there, then I can run JavaScript inside. So this is going to give me not the word focus, but the value of focus in state. So let's save that. I'm going to have to put in all my, so like currently we're not saving any of the data. So I'm going to have to log in again. But bear with me for a second while I get all this login stuff in again. And what else? Password. Alright, did that work? Did that not save? Uh-oh. Didn't work this time. What did I mess up? First argument was invalid. Calm, set calm. What the heck? I thought we got rid of all the calm stuff. Didn't we? We did. Why is it still trying to set calm? Oh, look at that. All right, so my calm score right now is 0.51. Cool. Let's see if I can... Yeah, there we go. So it's updating. So I lost focus there. Do you see me? I looked over there and lost focus. So this is giving me a real-time focus score. Basically, like how focused I am right now. That is pretty cool. So this is let me do focus. Yeah, cool. So I want to show you, let me show you the screen. So like this is the developer kind of console thing. So you could see this is focus, right? It's like tracking my focus levels. So like a higher number means I'm more focused. This is between 0 and 1. So what we've done here, let me see if I can split screen it. There we go. So like these focus numbers, it's right now it's reading the same feed. So I guess like we've succeeded now at successfully connecting this to a React Native app. So I'm getting data from this brain-computer interface headset. It's going out to the Neurosity servers, right? And then they're providing this API that I could subscribe to in my app that's giving me this data. So now we're getting real-time data about my level of focus in my brain in this React Native app. So that's pretty sweet. The next step then would be, hey, Alex, who built, he's the co-founder of Neurosity, is watching the stream. So awesome. Glad to have you here. So like right now, essentially like it works, right? We can connect this into React Native. The next step would be, it's kind of a pain to have to log in every time, right? So it'd be nice if we could save this data somewhere locally on a user's machine so that it'll auto log you in. So I'd say that's probably the next step that I'd like to do, because that would really help save time, because it just takes a while to keep copying and pasting that every time we do something new and make a change. So that's probably the next step that I'll do in the next stream, because I think, yeah, so I'm over the hour mark, and I only wanted to take an hour. I don't want to take too much time away from my family here on a Sunday. So on the next stream, we'll work on saving this in whatever version of local storage we need. So on the web, it would be the browser's local storage, but on an iOS or Android device, that would be different. So we need to make sure we code it so that it'll work on whatever platform we're running on. So it'll save that information so we don't have to log in every time. Then we can try to figure out some thresholds and say like, all right, let's say if I drop below a 0.2, then it's going to do something, right? Vibrate, make a noise, flash the screen. It's going to do something to warn us that our attention is dropping below the threshold that we set. So I'd say that's probably a good next step. Also, I think I would kind of want to use maybe like a simulator, right, to make sure we can simulate what's happening on a mobile device. So I can run it on my mobile phone, but it'd be harder for you to see it. I guess I could hold it up to the camera. But I'm going to see if I can maybe get like an Android simulator running for the next time, so we could do this. Also, so Alex in the chat says you could use React Native async storage library, which that's a great suggestion. I actually contributed to the new version of React Native async storage, so I don't think it's out yet. So if you use the React Native community async storage package, the latest like development version has a bunch of contributions that I did to get it to work with local storage in the browser. So I'm kind of proud of that because that was a lot of work, and I did do some live streams about that too. So I think I put that on my channel if anybody's interested in how that works. But all right, cool. So I'm just gonna leave this up on the screen for now, just to kind of see like all the data going here. I'll leave this as well, and then let me go back to the chat. I'm gonna get through the chat kind of quickly, because I don't want to stream too much longer. I want to get back to my kids here, but I do want to answer some of your questions. So I'm gonna try to stream through, answer your questions. If I don't get to something, put it in the comments, and I'll try to get to it. You can definitely like shoot me a DM on Twitter or something if you want to. If I don't get to your question, but I'm going to try to get to as many as I can. The Genius Marketer says, do you recommend W3 schools or what to get some code? If you're trying to learn how to code, check out freeCodeCamp. So it's freeCodeCamp.org. They've got an awesome curriculum. People have gone through the freeCodeCamp curriculum and have gotten jobs and stuff. So I would definitely check that out. I wonder why my focus stopped. Maybe I moved too much. I don't know what I did. But this one's still working though. But yeah, definitely check out freeCodeCamp. That's a great place to go. Tom Williams says, is React Native normal JavaScript or TypeScript? You can use React Native with normal JavaScript or TypeScript. I chose to do it with TypeScript, but you definitely could do regular JavaScript. I just kind of recently got into TypeScript and been using it at work, so I'm trying to use it more just to kind of really learn it well. But you definitely don't have to use it. Let's see. I see some of you were trying to share your email addresses and it got blocked by the filter. So I showed that. So if you scroll back up in the chat, those are visible now. So you should be able to get them now. All right, there's a lot of cool discussion about programming languages in the chat, so I'm not going to read it all out, but I love it whenever there's great discussion from you on the chat. No Beer says, I'm hearing footsteps on the floor. Yeah, those are my kids playing upstairs. I actually had a contractor come in and look and talked to me about maybe getting a soundproof office to do these videos in. And they're supposed to get back with me with an estimate. I kind of expected it sooner. I don't know what's taking so long, but hopefully I can get a legitimate kind of recording studio at some point, and then should be a little bit better audio quality for these videos. Hey, Chris DeMars is here. How's it going, Chris? Chris DeMars has a cool podcast that I did an episode on recently. It's called Tales from the Script. So check that out on, I think it's on Spotify. I listen to it through Google Podcasts. So yeah, check that out. I'm sure it's available on all the different podcast services. But yeah, he does a great job. Yeah, Chris, I'm doing good. I was just doing a little bit of coding. I'm kind of wrapping it up. Oh yeah, that's true. And Alex, who was he was on the chat. He's the co-founder of Neurosity. Was also on the podcast as well. So you can learn more about Neurosity and the brain-computer interface, what they're trying to do, and learn a little bit more about me if you want. If you check out the podcast. So yeah, Chris just put in the chat. He's on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher. So all the podcast things. Yeah, check him out. Let's see. We got a question from Big Dodd. It says, I got an exam in 6 months, high school level in C++ for entering a college. Do you think I stand a chance? I started learning C++ like 2 months ago, but is there enough time? You definitely have a chance. It's hard to say like how long it'll take anyone, but it kind of depends on how much time you have to study. But don't quit on it. I think you have a chance. If you study hard at it. Especially if it's high school level. I don't really know what they would expect a high school student to know. But if you have 6 months left and you've already been studying for 2 months, I think you got a good chance at doing well on the test. I don't know. I'd like to hear other people's opinions on this. I haven't done any C++ code except I took one C++ course a long time ago, maybe like early 2000s. But I don't remember that much from it. So probably not the best to ask about C++, but I definitely think you could do it. Omar says, "Sir, you are awesome." Thanks. I appreciate that. He says, "Thank you for your wisdom and time. I have no idea how to code, but I respect people who share their knowledge. Thank you." Yeah, you're welcome. Welcome. I'm happy to share it, and yeah, hopefully you all get something out of this. No Beer says, "What's up, Jesse? It's been a while for streaming. How are you?" I'm doing all right. I know it's been a while. To tell you the truth, like I've had I had some weird health issues recently that were kind of just like keeping me from doing a lot. I had like some scans done on my lung, and they found some like black like shading like in the scans, and it turns out I had like nodules on my lung, and I kept doing all these tests. I couldn't figure out what it was, so I wasn't that worried about it, but it got me thinking like, hey, if this is something serious, I want to spend as much time with my kids as I can. So I kind of stopped doing any side projects or streaming or stuff. And but it turns out I just saw a lung specialist this last week. I don't think it's anything threatening. He thinks that I have like allergies and asthma, and I found out I have sleep apnea. So like I got a lot of stuff figured out. But the good news is none of it is life threatening, right? It's all fine. So now I'm hoping to be able to get back into streaming more, because I really love doing this, and I miss, we kind of had like a crew of people that would watch all the time, and, I miss that. So anyway, thanks for asking, and, I'm going to try to do I know I say this all the time, but I'm going to try to do my best to stream more, either through freeCodeCamp or maybe do some videos on my channel. I think I'm going to alternate a little bit. But I definitely want to do this more. And I'm having a lot of fun with this brain-computer interface thing, too. It's just kind of really cool and different than like my day-to-day work. Let's see. Dylan says, I don't get what you're trying to do. Basically, I'm linking up for right now for what we did in this show. I'm linking up this brain-computer interface that I'm wearing with a React Native app so that we can get data from this device into the app. We're going to do some cool stuff with it, but for right now, we've just succeeded at getting the data. So this little number we see here is actual like score on a scale of 0 to 1 of how focused I am right now. Oh, cool. Krista Morris says, if they did a blood test and everything came back good, then you're good. Yeah, I'm not, like I said, I'm not worried. Pretty much got everything figured out. I got to do some more tests and this week because there was some stuff with my liver that the doctor was worried about. But to be honest with you, I've been trying to work out a lot lately, and I'm taking all these supplements, and I think that was throwing off my blood tests a little bit. So this whole week I've been taking off and just basically not working out, not taking any supplements, and I'm going to redo the tests and see if that helps. I'm expecting it will. And then at that point, I think basically everything that was wrong with me will be at least explained. But yeah, I think should be good. I feel good, and so I figure I feel good. I feel in good shape. The only thing that was weird for me was I kept getting out of breath really easily, but it makes sense. If I have asthma, that totally explains it. So, I mean, it all it all makes sense, and I feel good. So I have like an inhaler now that I could take if I feel out of breath. So I'm gonna test it out probably. Maybe next time in the gym, I'm gonna take my inhaler with me and then see if I do my normal workout. And then see if I feel a big difference. I'm expecting I'll probably be able to breathe a lot better. But anyway, I know some of you probably care about that, and some of you are just here for the code. So I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Like, y'all can ask me on social media if you want. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to wrap things up now and go hang out with the kids a little bit before bedtime. And yeah, it was really good. I'd love to keep going with this project in some future streams. Let me know what you all think in the comments. If you have questions, shoot them in the comments to me, or Twitter or Instagram or whatever social media you like. My DMs are open. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And yeah, so until next time, have a great rest of your weekend, great beginning to your week, and I'll see y'all later.